Implement is a two-thirds gender principle. Ibrahim Karanja now looks at the gender agenda 10 years on.
The 7th of August 2015, it was clear that the implementation of a key provision of the 2010 Constitution was still a piped dream. This was the constitutional deadline by which Parliament was supposed to have enacted legislations to have the two-thirds gender principle take effect, a provision that would see leaders play to the gallery. Yet all these efforts would always flop when the rubber met the road at the floor of the House. The 2010 Constitution of Kenya has largely been touted as the most progressive in the region, with the two-thirds gender principle seen as a game-changer. Article 81B on general principles of the electoral systems read that not more than two-thirds of the members of elective or appointive bodies shall be of the same gender. The same is reinforced in Article 27, sub-Article 8 on equality and freedom from discrimination, that reads that the state shall take legislative and other measures to implement the principle that not more than two-thirds of the members of elective or appointive bodies shall be of the same gender. Yet, 10 years after the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution, this requirement is far from being met. Attempts to have it enacted in Parliament through the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill of 2011, the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill of 2015, and the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill of 2018, popularly known as the Duale Bill, flopped.
I seek your indulgence to allow for the deferment of replying and voting on the second reading.
Let us dispense off with this bill today, Mr. Speaker, and let the 33 come here. If it is defeated by vote, that is up to them.
At the time these bills were on the floor of the House, President Uhuru Kenyatta would time and again make pronouncements calling on legislators to pass it.
Join me in ensuring the implementation of the two-thirds gender principle that's in our Constitution. It is the minimum acceptable level of representation. It is a measure for now, not tomorrow.
But these public pronouncements remained just that.
But when it comes to the voting, we have never been summoned by our own leader, our political leaders, to tell us, you people must take this direction. That's why I say, let them stop lip service.
Parliament has failed. It does not fail because of any incapacity on its part. It has failed because it doesn't have the will of people in mind.
A failure that has left Kenyans with an unconstitutional parliament. Muturi Kigano is the chairperson of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee of the National Assembly.
If it is not evolved, one that is missing, that does not stop Wajiko from doing her work. She is not disadvantaged.
The fifth schedule of the Constitution states that this particular legislation must have been enacted 5 years after the promulgation of the Constitution. Article 261, sub-Article 7 of the Constitution on consequential legislation states that if Parliament fails to enact legislation in accordance with an order under Clause 6B, the Chief Justice shall advise the President to dissolve Parliament, and the President shall dissolve Parliament. When asked about why it had taken long for him to write to the President to dissolve Parliament,
I can't say anything because the matter is in court before me. Do you get? Because if I say anything now, that's not allowed.
But it is our honest belief that the Chief Justice, having taken the oath to uphold the law, will perform his role.
The Kenyan cabinet, though very late, implemented the two-third gender principle. Some semblance of compliance has also been seen in a number of commissions, while extending to the counties where some county executive committees have fully complied.
The Constitution was very prescriptive under Article 177 on what the county assemblies should do so that they can attain the two-thirds gender rule. You will appreciate that we have seen a lot of nominated MCAs.
Some quarters, however, fault the patriarchal nature of the Kenyan society as what derails this principle, with arguments that a constitutional amendment through the BBI would address these shortfalls. Among proposals to the BBI include having opposite gender run for the gubernatorial positions across the 47 counties.
We feel that if the functions of deputy governors in the Constitution, once again, are not very well spelled out, that it will not help in terms of service delivery. It will help in terms of gender balance, and it will be a big tick in terms of gender balance, but in terms of actual delivery of services to Wanjiku, it might not make any impact.
Failure to implement a single provision of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 dwarfs every other progressive effort taken to paint Kenya as a country that upholds the rule of law. The struggle, it appears, is far from over, and one that needs more than lip service, more than public theatrics.
Even if gender parity is going to be achieved, we are also calling on women as many women as are possible to get onto the ballot and to go for elective posts.
10 years later, the failure to implement the two-third gender principle hangs on the neck of the Jubilee administration. The will of the people of Kenya 10 years ago slowly subverted, with those mandated to uphold the rule of law comfortably appearing to be in deep slumber.
The seal has been
Ibrahim Karanja, KTN News.
Right, and let's head straight to our conversation tonight. And tonight we are looking 10 years on